It's the 64th year for the Grammys, and you've come up with a novel way to celebrate that with your books.
Well, I can only take some of the credit. The Academy was obviously involved in it, but what we decided to do this year is we did 3 different versions of the cover. The 3 different colors, making it more of a collector's item. And keep in mind, the book is a limited print run. So we're hoping that people will see the value in this. It's always been a collector's item. This makes it even a little cooler.
And it looks like the Grammy was laminated somehow. So
actually,
it
was
pops.
Yeah, it was coated in a shiny thing, so it's kind of like your own Grammy if you get the book. In addition to that, we did something kind of neat this year. We did a Hall of Fame gatefold where it comes out as a timeline. So you see how each record affected each other record to make it to the Hall of Fame. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's a great history to look at and to really dig into it, to see what's happened in music. A lot of things have changed over the years. I mean, Dave, you've done a production for many years, and you've seen the transition from analog to digital to now. It seems like unworldly the things that you're able to do with music.
Right. So this year, I started an immersive audio studio, Dolby Atmos studio, and it's like the #1 request from the labels for work, production work. And I see that as something that's going to eventually transition to more of a wider category within the Grammys, because it's a way for artists to sort of reinvent themselves, reinvent the catalog of their old music in this immersive audio area. And you know, I'm a little confused sometimes about the categories of the Grammys and the Recording Academy, but I think that it's kind of finding its way again. So.
But that's creativity. In any way you slice it, it changes.
Indeed.
Creative expression, whether it's music or art or movies, whatever it is, it constantly is changing as people innovate, right?
Right,
Yes.
and Harvey Mason Jr. has done an incredible job putting together a team that is looking at things with a new eye, because we are 64 years old, and I'm 64 years old, so I know what it's like to think old school. Yeah, and he's much older, as you can plainly see. But you know, we're trying to bring some new blood in and bring some new ideas in, and to Harvey's credit, he's brought in some wonderful people that are doing exactly that. And the cover of the book is an example of that. The gentleman that is the creative director at the Academy now saw the visions of all of this along with us, and now we're doing it. And the book, as I mentioned, is available digitally at GrammyBook64.com, and we encourage everybody to share it and engage with the Grammys, so you know what's coming up, you know what's going to happen, you know who's nominated. All of that is available on the digital book as well as in the print
There's also
version.
a QR code inside the book. I saw that. Yeah.
There is indeed, and hopefully you'll put it on the screen tonight.
Yeah, just click that QR code and you get this book digitally.
And we are going to have QR code posters around the facility so that people walking by could, which is unique.
And we have something else that's kind of neat. We have these tap cards. So we're going to have some of the ushers and ourselves will have a tap card that we got done in London, and you tap the phone and it automatically puts the QR onto the or the link, if you will.
Pretty cool.
Right onto your phone. We did it on the Critics' Choice, and Lady Gaga thought it was the coolest thing in the world. She was in London and she was like checking it out.
That is so cool. One of the things that really strikes me about the Grammys that's different from any other show, and I mean any other show, is the precision and the quality of the performances. It is not an easy thing to put that many groups, bands, performers, with their quirks, all with their creative designs and interests. To put that all together into a cohesive show is a miracle.
It is, and not last year because we were restricted from the show, but the year before, when I was backstage during the show, to see the microphone rack of hundreds of microphones with every artist. Everything is cued to their, EQ'd for their voice and the level and everything. And there's literally hundreds of microphones for specific artists and people that are going to be on stage. Just that one thing blows my mind.
What's interesting about that
is keeping track of that.
Yeah.
There's a guy that is responsible for the batteries and those microphones. That alone is a huge gig.
Right.
It is. I know they call it music's biggest night, and it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed.
It is. It is.
It is indeed.
I mean, you get the biggest stars or stars that are emerging.
Yeah.
They all come together. I'll never forget watching Paul McCartney and I think it was Incubus or Linkin Park. I think it was Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
Yeah, together, and thinking to myself, we have just bridged generations there.
Absolutely.
You know, and I'm sure kids were going, "Who's that guy with Linkin Park?"
Right.
but the Grammys do that, right? They bring people together that perhaps would never work together.
They've put some very interesting duets together. One would be Eminem and Elton John back in the day when there was that whole controversy about Eminem, and they put them together, and it was an amazing performance.
It was.
So, you know, it's nice to see different genres of music put together. It's nice to see different types of artists working together collaboratively on beautiful pieces of art. And if it's, you know, even everything from jazz to, you know, folk music to rock and roll to classical, it's kind of meshed it together during that show, as you said, in a very unique kind of way.
What does it mean to you personally to be involved with the Grammys?
Well, I was born into the business. My dad was in the business, and unfortunately he's not here any longer. But I feel very proud to be involved, you know, because of my years of really, it's the only business I've known my whole life. And so to be involved at this level and still be working in production and being involved with the Grammys, it's an amazing thrill. You know, I'm so proud of it.
And you?
Well, I've been a voting member for over 20 years, and I've been fortunate enough to work with some of the best artists in the world. And to be candid, I always see everybody in the room as much more talented than me. But I think I work hard enough to be a part of it, and I'm proud of those associations, even with Dave.
Hard to believe, but,
yeah, it is.
You know.
But yeah, it's exciting to be around art. And I tell people this all the time. I say some people go play soccer on the weekends or go play, you know, basketball or whatever. I go in the studio and make art because I love it.
One last thing I wanted to say is that after you know, the pandemic and last year's show being, you know, they basically made us park in a parking lot a block away. Somebody came over, would stay in the car with the windows rolled up, you know. And we have a show this year. We're going to be there. There's going to be an audience. It's going to be an amazing moment to be back and doing something live
and
like that.
And please tune in, because this is our opportunity to really show the world what, you know, a reflection of the times through the art. And some of the younger artists have done a phenomenal job of doing that. With all the controversy in the world right now, it's a time for us to celebrate.
It's a great escape, and it's one of the most wonderfully put together shows in media, I think, because of just the sheer nature of all the acts that are put together. And I just have to say that something about this trophy, which speaks volumes, you know, that Grammy. What did it mean to you, Dave, to win that Grammy?
Well, at the time, I was in a little bit of disbelief that it actually happened, and but proudest moment of my life, of my professional life, you know.
And you won it with Alan Parsons.
With Alan Parsons,
yeah.
And Alan was not there, which really
it was funny. I had Alan on my phone on FaceTime.
Yeah.
And we walked up together.
He was in the middle of the Caribbean.
Yeah. And I was showing him Dave on stage. I showed him Dave on stage collecting the Grammy.
Yeah.
So,
it was
and then we presented it together to Alan at
during
one of his
a
concerts.
concert performance.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was a great moment.
And you know, that moment is repeated over and over and over again to all the winners, because we only see a small portion of the show.
Yes.
And actually the book reflects all of the things that are involved in the Grammys, not just the TV show.
Exactly. And quite frankly, let's address the fact that getting a nomination is enormous. And only one of those people can win out of the 5 or 10 nominees. But being nominated for a Grammy, that alone is an enormous accomplishment. And everyone who's nominated should be proud of that. I mean, really proud of it.
100%.
Sometimes the votes are diluted because you're in several categories, and that person maybe should have won that category, but was diluted in other ones. But that nomination is the key. So if you're nominated for a Grammy Award, be proud of that for the rest of life, and you are a Grammy nominee for the rest of your life.
You know, some people are really blatant about their promotion to win a Grammy. In fact, sometimes they'll wear shirts that say like G Diddy.
Yep.
You know? So I'm wondering which artist you're promoting here. Who is G Diddy?
The elephant in the room, huh? It's my grandfather name for my kids. I felt like I was too young to be a grandfather, so I went with G Diddy.
So that's what they call you.
And if I hear from P. Diddy because of you,
right?
You're going to court with me.
Well, congratulations. Have a great show. It's the 64th year. Next year, big 6-5.
Right on. And I think you you should get back to announcing.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course. The Grammys here on CBS.
There you go.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Carlos.